Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this NXT Talking Points video. So the first talking point is this one. The layout of NXT this week was very strange. We were in Philadelphia and normally when we do a venue like a theater, we would put the ring here. We would have the crowd all around it. The talent would kind of come down the stage, down some steps and get into the ring, right? This time we actually had the crowd like here, really far back, and I think they had to be this far back to see in the ring, because obviously the closer you are, the harder it would be to see what's happening in the ring. So I think we ended up having the crowd quite far back. They were a real distance though from the edge of the stage. I think they were even quite a distance from these railings. And yeah, it just seemed really weird, really off. I do like unique setups, but this one, it didn't feel right. And actually, this space here, this void, we only actually used it in this first match. So there was, I don't know, it was just weird. It was a really weird setup. I don't know why they set it up that way. I'm sure there were some reasons for it. But we went to our opening match and look at this. So here, look, we've got... I mean, he had to know that was not going to go well, right? I mean, there he is, look, looking for this suplex. Look at the weird angle that this is set up on. He is clearly going to catch that chair somehow. I don't see how he avoids this chair. And so he does the suplex, look. I mean, he does well to only catch the corner on his shoulder. But even so, I mean, I feel like he could have set this up and made it a little bit easier for himself. But he does, man. He ends up driving himself through that chair, which was so obvious that was going to happen. So just a bonkers spot, a really bonkers spot, but not the craziest spot we would see tonight. That would come in the main event. So Briggs would beat Inamura in a street fight. Then we would have Ricky Saints coming out. Briggs would actually be walking following the match to the back. We don't normally see that. We don't normally see wrestlers heading to the back whilst other wrestlers are making their entrance. They clearly did this on purpose. I think they're setting up the next match for Briggs, and that looks like it's going to be Ricky Saints. Don't know what's next for Inamura. He might be on his way back to Japan. He's not an NXT superstar. We've just borrowed him from Noah, so it could be that he's on his way back. Ricky Saints got the win in the second match against Jasper Troy, and as we said, next for him could be Briggs. Could be Briggs. Backstage, we had Trick Williams. He was wearing the TNA Championship upside down, but he's been doing that a lot, so it was on purpose. It's a disrespect thing. So he was talking about our main event. He was going to be taking on Javon. Winner would go on to face the champ Oba at Heatwave. Then backstage, we had Hank and Tank. They're going to be taking on Dark State at Heatwave. They just wanted to know what two members are they going to be facing. They never got an answer on that because we had the Elegance brand interrupt from TNA, and they were very upset that Masha Slamovich was going to be special guest referee. So a little bit of backstage chaos. But before we got to that match, we had Jordan Grace come out. So she said that she wanted revenge, and she wants Blake to see herself for exactly who she is. That brought out Blake Monroe. She said that she had a contract written up, and if Jordan lays a finger, the match at Heatwave is off. Now, I'm a little bit confused by this, because it sort of suggests that if you lay a finger on me, our match is not going to happen. Well, Jordan did lay a finger on Blake. Backstage later, Blake said, well, that's it, I'm not doing the match. And then Ava just made her have the match anyway. So all of this about, you know, I've got this contract, but I'm not going to sign it if you lay a finger, it was all rubbish. Because she did have a finger laid on her, and Ava still made her do the match anyway, right? So I did find parts of this segment personally to be a little bit off, a little bit undercooked. There were some okay moments in there. But I'm sure the match will deliver. I've got no doubt about that. But basically, you know, pretty standard affair where these two were exchanging words. Jordan ends up taking out the security guards. And Blake, I think at this point, is under the impression that the match is not going to happen now. But as we said later on, we would find out from Ava, it very much is going to happen. This was a massive talking point, actually, and that is that we had Sol Ruka backstage with the Speed Championship again, right? With the Speed Championship. Lainey Reed walked past and said to Sol Ruka, at least JC defends both her titles. And as Lainey walked away, Sol Ruka said, I've got the need for speeds. That very much implies that the Speed Championship is not going away, but actually might be defended on NXT going forwards. So we might now have the Speed Championship being defended in NXT. And I wonder if that would be the same for the men's as well. No word on that. I mean, obviously we're having to read into this maybe a little bit too much, but it certainly implies that the Speed Championship's not going away. And the fact that we're still seeing it on camera as well kind of backs that up. So, and also Zaruka and Fatal Influence just sort of getting in each other's way. Definitely feels like something's brewing there. So then we go over to our next folder where we've got the next bits. And of course, this would be Fatal Influence taking on the Elegance brand. And as we said, Masha Slamovich, special guest referee. I thought that she did a good job. She called it down the middle. There was one moment where she got distracted, and I don't think she meant to. I think that Ash by Elegance could have got the pin at that point. She was pinning Jasmine at that point. I think it would have been a 3, but Masha was being distracted. Basically, it was a win for JC and Fatal Influence. JC managing to hit Rolling Encore and get the victory. Backstage, we had Kendall Gray and Charlie Dempsey. Wrestle Talk saying Charlie Dempsey is seemingly trying to attempt to recruit Kendall Gray into No Catch Crew. I don't think it worked, to be honest. I mean, she sort of walked away very unimpressed, but he might try again next week. I really like Kendall Gray. I think she's a great talent. Been enjoying watching her in Evolve, so seeing her coming into No Catch Crew, I think would be really fun. Here's that video. I think the audio on this is not very good, right? So basically here, look, we've got Blake Monroe kind of freaking out, saying the match is off. I said if you was going to lay a finger on me that I wasn't going to sign this contract. And then, of course, Ava comes in and just lets her know the match is very much on. So there we go. It is going to be a match between Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace. Right, also backstage we had the Cullen confronting No Catch Crew. Again, don't know if anything's going to come of this. There was just a little interaction, but yeah, interesting. Back in the ring, we had the Peace Treaty. So Ethan Page and Chelsea Green against Tyra May Steele and Tavian is made for Heatwave. This peace treaty did not work. There was lots of arguing and bickering, and Ava came out and was like, there's not much peace in this peace treaty. So let's get this sorted at Heatwave in a mixed tag match. This was interesting. So Lexis King approached Miles Bourne, right? So Miles was just talking to Ricky Saints, but Lexis King approached him and said it must be so hard being blind and deaf. And Miles was like, I'm deaf, but I'm not blind. And then Lexis sprayed mace in his eyes. Now, on NXT house shows, we have seen footage of Miles and Lexis doing blindfold matches. So they've actually been wearing these black sacks over their heads as they do like blindfold matches, which I think could be coming to NXT, because now obviously we're telling a bit of a story about why we would need a match like that. So yeah, watch this space for a blindfold match for Miles Bourne and Lexis King. Lash Legend said neither Kalani or Lola could go toe-to-toe with Nia Jax. Kalani said more like ass to ribs. because, of course, there was that Annihilator. And it is true that Lola and Kalani and Jada are going to be battling at Heatwave to try and find that next number one contender. Then we had Dark State just sort of chatting to Ava, and in the background they mentioned Joe Hendry's name, and out he popped. He was inside this cupboard. Cutler came over with another one of his classic lines, "You don't want us behind you." So there we go, Cutler being Cutler and dropping one of those inappropriate lines. Then we got this rundown of what we're getting at Heatwave following all the announcements we've seen tonight. So we know already that we've got Ash and Masha and JC in a triple threat for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Blake Monroe against Jordan Grace, as we said, even though Blake tried to get out of it, that has been made for Heatwave. Number one contenders triple threat of Jada, Kalani and Lola. And then a mixed tag match which got made after the peace treaty failed. That has seen Tyra May Steele and Tavian against Chelsea and Ethan. So we got that as well. Plus, we've got Dark States taking on Hank and Tank. Then we went to our main event, and this spot was sick. Look at this. On the top, push back. Oh, my God. They showed it from so many different angles. Look at Booker's expression. That is the moment of the night, the biggest spot of the night. It was absolutely crazy. Trick was doing really well, winning the match. Oba was in the balcony. Trick looked over basically to say, "I'll see you soon, big man. Don't forget the winner goes to Heatwave to go up against Oba." And as he turned around, it was Mike Santana that was there instead of Oba. That momentary distraction just allowed Javon to pick up the victory. So it's going to be Javon Oba for the NXT title at Heatwave. And here, look, we've had people saying, WWE, you've got to end this deal with CW. The fact that you broadcast got cut as soon as the bell rang is kind of wild. It's time for NXT to come to Netflix. So a lot of people were saying this, that as soon as this match ended, the broadcast ended. Like, you didn't get anything extra. And to be honest, we watch NXT on Netflix in the UK. We didn't get anything extra either. There was only a few moments after the pin, and that was it. So I think timing-wise, this really ran it very, very close. Some people are saying they didn't even get a chance to see the 1, 2, 3. Apparently in some markets it ended even earlier. So another talking point is the fact that this show might have not even made it to the very end for certain people. They still might be sat there not knowing who won. But I can tell you, Javon did it. It's Javon that won. And message sent, says TNA, Santana with that distraction. So does that mean that we're going to get Mike Santana against Trick in a singles match? Certainly feels that way. So loads going down on this week's episode of NXT. Some good, some a little off. I think the setup was a little off. But, you know, there was some really good stuff, really good spots, some really fun moments, and I think it's all set up a very entertaining Heatwave, which we are going to be doing the live watch-along for this weekend. So if you are around, come and join us, come and share your thoughts, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.